In the midst of fearing from AI, let's take AI's assistance to increase developer productivity because believe it or not, the expectations from developers have increased now, and only those who can fulfill such high expectations will be able to survive in this demanding market. So hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Aishwarya Parab, and today I'll be talking about the 3 AI tools that I use on a daily basis as a senior software engineer. And before getting started and before revealing those 3 tools that I use daily as a software engineer, let me tell you a little story. So, when I joined my first company, that time AI was not very much prevalent. Of course, machine learning was going on, but AI taking jobs and AI coding for you wasn't really prevalent. But in my first year of working at a company, ChatGPT launched. And when ChatGPT launched, we of course knew that it could code, we knew that it could solve lead code problems, geeks for geeks problems. But I used ChatGPT for content reasons because our English was not really good. So if we had to write an email for somebody, or if we had to write a letter, or maybe form some professional message, then we used to use ChatGPT for that. I never really used ChatGPT heavily for coding in the initial years of my career. And after a few years, GitHub launched GitHub Copilot, which is an extension which you can use with VS Code, and that gives you code out of the box. You only need to write a prompt, or maybe write down the code, and then it will complete the code for you. And even if you write a prompt, then it will give you the code which suits your prompt, which was pretty cool when it launched, and everyone was really excited to use GitHub Copilot, even though it was paid. Because I worked at a company which was an MNC, the company gave us a subscription to GitHub Copilot, and all the teams in our company, pretty much all the teams, used GitHub Copilot. And in my team as well, all of my team members had used GitHub Copilot. They had installed it on VS Code, except me. And my managers didn't really complain because they were like, okay, if you want to, then you do. My managers were pretty good and flexible, by the way. But I had this notion in my mind that I don't want to take AI's help at the start of my career, because if I rely heavily on AI, then I'm not training my brain to do logical thinking or to do problem solving. And I'm a person who likes to build products. So I don't have a good experience of DSA. So when it comes to problem solving, I haven't really solved a lot of DSA problems. I only rely on front-end development, back-end development. Basically, I have expertise in web development. So I really wanted to apply my brain, apply my thoughts, and train my brain to tackle problems when it comes to coding. That's why I never wanted to take assistance from AI. And I never took assistance from ChatGPT, and I never took assistance from GitHub Copilot. I never installed GitHub Copilot on VS Code. And I thought that I was doing the right thing. No, I was wrong. Listen, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying don't train your brain. I'm not saying don't do problem solving. I'm also not saying don't spend time on coding problems and take AI's assistance immediately. No, that is not something that you need to do because you're a human for a reason. You're starting out as a junior level software engineer or as a senior level software engineer for a reason, because that experience will make you an even better engineer in the future. So don't give up very easily. All I'm saying is, if a problem is presented to you which will take certain amount of thinking, instead of spending 4 hours spending or wasting 4 hours in today's day, because spending would have been like 3-4 years before, right? Engineers would really spend a lot of time. Now it's considered to be wasted because engineers' time is very important. If something can be solved by AI, let's give it to AI. But okay, hear me out. If a problem is given to you, and if it takes you 4 hours to deal with it and to figure out what's going on, then give it to AI who can do it in 15 minutes. That's what I mean. Okay, very simple. But don't give it to AI immediately. At least spend 30 minutes on it. As a human, you spend at least 1 hour on it. AI will do it for 15 minutes, but you spend at least 1 hour and understand what the problem statement is, what would be your first brute force solution. If there's any solution that's coming to your mind, it may not be the fully optimized one, but whatever is coming to your mind, try to apply it, figure it out. If there are 2 other solutions, write down the second solution as well. So spend some time. Don't spend 30 minutes, at least spend 1 hour, and don't spend 4 hours as well. So find a way such that you don't spend a lot of time and you don't spend very little time on that particular problem statement. And if you feel that you need more assistance, go to AI. Don't waste your precious time on this, because now engineers are needed to ideate. engineers are needed to scale up systems. Engineers are needed to come up with solutions that don't just help the product to be fine, great, and optimized, but the product to reach its right audience. So human mind is needed for various other reasons that are available till today, and whatever can be automated is given to AI. So don't get me wrong when I say don't use your brain. Use your brain, but you need to know for how much time you want to apply your brain and then strengthen or train it. And without any further ado, these are the 3 tools that I use on a daily basis consistently as a senior software engineer. The first tool I use is Bolt.new. This is a very new tool in the market. Not very new, many people know about it, but I'll tell you how I use it. So whenever I want to build a new product, I explain what the product is doing, what problem is the product solving, what functionalities do I want in that particular product, whether it is just another CRUD app or there's some login and sign up functionality that I want, if I want some database operations to be done, if I want some notifications or reminders to be sent to the user. So all that functionality is explained in my prompt. Apart from that, I also mentioned which tech stack I want to use. Mostly I use Next.js, TypeScript, React, Tailwind CSS, MongoDB, and Node.js. But in Next.js we can write backend APIs as well. But this is the tech stack that I'm most comfortable with, and I mentioned the tech stack in my prompt itself. After that, I also mentioned design guidelines. So if you're really particular about designs, then you can mention the color palette that you're using, or you can ask Bolt to come up with a new color palette as well. It's AI, so it will give you the best results, rest assured. And after that, Bolt generates a full-fledged app for you with its own built-in code editor. So its code editor pretty much looks like VS Code, and using its code editor, you can also edit the code, and you can also ask Bolt to edit a few things, like edit a snippet of code. That can also be done. And further, you can check with code if something is not working, say, because after all it's AI, right? So you will of course find some errors. So if something is not working, you can further check with Bolt and ask it to improvise it if you feel that the existing functionality which has been written purely without using any package is not working fine, and if you know of a package which can improve this user interface or user experience, you can let Bolt know that this is a package that I know about, please install this and make use of it. So you can further chat with Bolt, that's completely possible, and the editor gives you the code. You also get a preview of your app. So sometimes I also use Bolt just to get design inspirations, because I'm a developer. I do have some design knowledge, but to get a full-fledged design is not easy for me when I build products. So Bolt also gives me design inspirations out of the box. And the best part about it, sometimes I like a few designs from Dribbble.com and these design sites, So I just click pictures, click screenshots of these sites, and I upload them to Bolt. And Bolt does a wonderful job of mimicking that design and converting it into the tech stack that I want. So if you have a design in mind, if you have some inspirations in mind, you can also take a screenshot and tell AI to do it. It will do it immediately. And yeah, I think that's about Bolt. Let's move on to the second tool that I use, and it's pretty similar to Bolt because it uses the same model, the same AI model, which is Sonnet 3.5, and that's Claude. So actually Bolt uses Claude's Sonnet 3.5 model. So you will realize one thing, and try this out because I've tried it once. Let's see if it works for you as well. Type a prompt of an app. So maybe think about it like this. You want to build an app, right? So whatever I mentioned in my previous section wherein I spoke about what type of app, what are the functions, what is the tech stack, and what are the design guidelines. Just frame a very nice prompt. You can also ask ChatGPT to frame this prompt, and then give this prompt to Bolt and give the same prompt to Claude, and they will both generate previews of your app. So even in Claude you get preview of your app, but I think Claude doesn't have its own built-in code editor. It only gives you like a component, which I don't really like. So even though they use the same model, I prefer Bolt more than Claude just because of Bolt's intuitive user interface. But yeah, coming back to the video, what I was saying is, if you give the same prompt, you will realize that it will produce the same results. You will get exactly the same design and exactly the same functionality in both Bolt and Claude because they use the same Sonnet 3.5 model. So what's the difference between Claude and Bolt? By the way, the difference comes in pricing. So Bolt is free up to a limit. So if you use it on a daily basis, if you ask a lot of queries to it, then the tokens will expire, and once the tokens expire, you have to pay in order to upgrade and ask more queries or chat more. But the next day your tokens are restored. So this is what I often do, because in companies we are just assigned a ticket, and every single day we have to work at completing that particular ticket. So today if I asked a few questions to Bolt and my tokens have expired, I don't need to upgrade to the paid version. I will wait for the next day, and during that time I will work out something on my own, right? I don't necessarily have to take AI's help all the time. So when my tokens expire, I use my own brain or I work on other tasks that are allotted to me. And when the next day comes, I again ask queries to Bolt. So tokens are restored on a daily basis when using Bolt. But when it comes to Claude, tokens are restored on a monthly basis. So at a particular day, if a task is given to you and if you can't seem to find a solution to it, even after chatting multiple times with Claude, you can still continue your conversation, because your tokens will not expire that easily. It has a higher limit, and that's because it's a monthly limit and not a daily limit. But again, there's a risk here. So what if you complete your tokens way before you complete the month? Then for the rest of your days in the month, you don't have anything to rely on. Basically, you don't have AI assistance. But if you have multiple tools, multiple AI tools at your expense, then you can always take help of AI anyhow. But yeah, that's about when it comes to Claude and Bolt. I mostly use Claude and Bolt for coding, because Sonnet 3.5 model is optimized for coding problems. It's not optimized to give you grammatical errors or to give you content or to restructure something or to give you an itinerary. So everything which ChatGPT does, which is for general use, Sonnet 3.5 may do that, but it's not really built for that. It's built for coding problems. So you get good solutions and you get up-to-date solutions with Claude and Bolt because of this model. And now the third tool that I use, it's my favorite. Of course, it's everyone's favorite. It is ChatGPT, and it's completely for free. It's completely free. The first two tools I mentioned at least had a limit, but ChatGPT is completely free. Of course, there is one model of ChatGPT which you can use for a certain time period. Not time period, I would say for a certain amount of usage, you can use that premium model for free. And after you're done with it, you have to use the free version of ChatGPT. But believe me when I say this, even the free version of ChatGPT gives you better results. Like, it will give you very good results and you'll be able to find solutions to your problems. For me, when I was learning how to build animations using Framer Motion, it was very difficult for me to follow documentation, because I wanted to build different kinds of animations. And of course, there were videos on the internet, but I wanted fast solutions because we were shipping very fast. And that is when ChatGPT came into picture. Even the free model, like I had already, my paid model was already gone. I didn't have any more access to the paid model because I had already used it up to the T. So only the free model was there with me, and even the free model gave me such good solutions and such good answers to using Framer Motion in my project. And now I think I'm good enough of a developer to use Framer Motion in my projects. Now I'm an expert and I'm very confident of using animations and Framer Motion in other projects of mine. So ChatGPT is really, really great. I of course use it for other general use, but when it comes to coding, all you need to do is give a good prompt, and giving a good prompt is so important. I know so many engineers who want to use AI tools, but their main problem is they don't specify what they exactly want. See, ChatGPT won't understand your entire context. So at times you also need to provide the code snippet. Apart from that, you also need to tell what your problem statement is, what you are trying to achieve, and where exactly your code is lacking something. First, learn how to precisely and concisely put your thoughts out. Learn that. Once you do that, once you know how to make your prompts, once you know what's important for you, AI will surely help you. And yeah, this was today's video. These are the three tools that I religiously use and I will keep on using, and I'm very proud of it. I'm not ashamed that as a developer I'm taking help from AI, and I'm not ashamed of it, because I know a few developers who are ashamed that they are using AI tools because they feel little of themselves. They feel that they are not capable enough to solve problems. But listen, The problems of nowadays are not the same what you used to face before. Now the problems are different. Okay, now you have to ship faster. Now your productivity needs to be 200%. 100% is not enough, and for that a human mind alone can't do a lot, and especially now wherein there are so many distractions. So don't be too hard on yourself. Tell yourself you're taking help. Any which way you would have asked your friend what to do about it, you would have asked your senior or your manager how to come up with a solution. In this case, you're not asking a human, you're just asking a tool, and you're getting the work done. And don't forget to learn from it. Don't forget to learn from the solution that the tool has given you, so that the next time you come across this problem, you know exactly what to do. So, yep, I hope this video helped, and let me know which tools you have used till today. I know many people are using Perplexity as well. Many people are also using Cursor. I have not used these extensively. I have used Perplexity, but not really used Cursor extensively. But let me know how it worked for you in the comments below, and subscribe for more such technical videos. I'll see you next time. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye.